Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into one of those messages you see online, claiming that shower gel causes breast cancer.
Right, and specifically that the World Health Organization, the WHO, has actually confirmed that parabens, which are often in these products, are carcinogens.
Yeah, exactly. And for this deep dive, we're relying on an article by Professor Lin, who really focuses on, clearing up health myths.
Mm-hmm. Our goal here is to, well, take apart these claims, look at the actual science, and maybe give you some tools for thinking critically about this kind of health news.
Because it often plays on fear, right? Especially biomedical stuff.
Definitely. It's about understanding the what, but also the why these claims spread.
Okay, let's unpack this. The message starts with a really a chilling story, doesn't it? About a family.
It does. It claims to be from a Professor Lin Zhu at Taipei Medical University. It tells this very vivid, very tragic story about a family breast cancer and, yeah, links it directly to shower gel they supposedly use their whole lives.
Wow. And then the big claim, WHO confirmation.
That's the core of it. The message explicitly states the WHO confirmed parabens cause breast cancer. It's designed to hit hard emotionally.
But here's the twist. The actual Professor Lin, whose article we're using,
Yeah.
he straight up debunks this. He says, and I'm quoting here, that the claim about WHO confirmation is 100% false news.
Unequivocal. That's pretty direct.
Very. So, okay, let's back up. What are parabens, actually? Why are they even in these products?
Good question. So parabens are basically preservatives. They're these short alkyl chain esters, chemically speaking,
Okay.
but you find them everywhere. Cosmetics, shampoos, lotions, even some foods like baked goods, jams, syrups. And get this, they actually occur naturally too in things like certain fruit juices and wine.
Naturally. Huh. So their main job is just stopping things from going bad.
Exactly. They prevent spoilage from bacteria, mold, fungi, keep the product stable and safe to use for longer.
Right. So if they're so common and used for safety,
Hmm.
what does the science say about the cancer link? Is there anything to the viral message claim, according to health bodies?
Well, that's where the message really falls apart. Let's look at the U.S. The CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, they say the effects of low-level exposure are, quote, unknown. Which sounds a bit worrying, maybe.
Yeah, unknown isn't super reassuring.
Right, but it's cautious scientific language. But then you have the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. They work with the Cosmetic Ingredient Review, or CIR,
Okay.
and they've basically said since 1984, and they rechecked this in 2006, that parabens are safe for use in cosmetics at the levels they're found.
Since the 80s. Wow.
Yeah. And the FDA put out a statement in 2022 saying pretty clearly, currently, we have no information indicating parabens used in cosmetics have an effect on human health.
So the FDA is clear. What about internationally? Europe? Maybe.
Good point. The EU's Scientific Committee on Consumer Safety, the SCCS, just this February said methylparaben, one common type, is safe in cosmetics up to certain concentrations. And maybe most importantly, the American Cancer Society states there's currently no epidemiological evidence. That means studies looking at large groups of people linking parabens to a higher risk of breast cancer.
No population evidence. And even the Taiwan Fact Check Center looked into this specific viral claim.
They did. And they also confirmed it lacks clear evidence for causing cancer.
So the scientific consensus seems really strong against this claim, which makes you wonder why all the paraben-free labels everywhere is taking them out actually better.
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it touches on that idea of like fear-based greenwashing.
Yeah, using fear to sell something that sounds healthier but maybe isn't.
Exactly. Some academic studies and dermatology reviews actually point out the opposite might be true. Removing parabens isn't always safer.
How so?
Well, the alternative preservatives used, sometimes even natural ones, often haven't been studied as much for long-term effects.
Oh, okay.
They can sometimes be more irritating to the skin or just, well, less effective at stopping mold and bacteria growth.
So you could end up with a product that's
Yeah.
less safe because it might get contaminated more easily.
Potentially, yes. Or it might have a shorter shelf life, which means more waste. Professor Lin's article actually mentions comments comparing this to other health scares, where banning something relatively safe leads to using alternatives that might be, worse or less understood.
Hmm. Okay, so let's try and sum this up for everyone listening.
Yeah.
What's the key takeaway here?
The bottom line is that this scary story linking shower gel, parabens, and breast cancer just isn't backed up by the science from major health organizations.
Right. At the levels permitted in products, parabens are generally considered safe, and they do an important job as preservatives.
Yeah. And this whole thing is a powerful reminder, isn't it? How easily a compelling emotional story can spread, even if the facts point the other way.
It really highlights that challenge we all face, trying to sort through marketing claims, especially when they tap into our health anxieties.
Absolutely. Making informed choices is tough when fear is part of the sales pitch.
So, maybe the final thought for you to consider is this. How do we get better at spotting the difference? How do we develop that critical eye to see past the fear-based greenwashing and focus on, well, the actual evidence in our everyday choices?
Something definitely worth thinking about next time you're reading a product label.